Battle Through the Heavens, Grand World. Chapter 193 Spirit of the Heart Fire. The coffin was quickly corrupted by the destruction of the seal, and in the space of a few breaths the bronze coffin was gone. When they saw the existence that broke the seal from the coffin tomb, Su Chong and the other two's expressions changed. To be precise, it could not be described with human words. It was more like a ball of flame. There were no facial features on its face. However, there was a heart-palpitating gaze coming from somewhere, and its body was covered with strange patterns. There seemed to be lava flowing on his arms. Dark black flames danced on his arms like the god of death. Without legs, his body was just an illusion. His aura, which could suffocate people, spread out from his body. It was boundless. They didn't notice Cao Ying's movement. Su Chong, Chen Rong, and Lao Zhen, who was protecting Lao Zheng, all had ugly expressions on their faces as they stared at Fire Man who was in the cave. What is this thing? It actually has the key of an emperor cultivation. Lao Zhen gritted his teeth and said bitterly. If it was on the ground, they could still rely on their many years of experience to deal with an emperor cultivation. If they were lucky, they could even kill him. However, under such circumstances, the three of them were injured to varying degrees. If they wanted to defeat this guy now, no doubt it's a pipe dream. While Cao Ying was attracting the Death Spirit Corpse guards to charge in Xiao Yan's direction, Xiao Yan's eyes swiftly flashed across Fire Man's body in the stone cave. Xiao Yan clenched his teeth when he sensed the frightening pressure from Fire Man. His body moved and he rushed out by himself. Who is it? Hearing the voice, Su Chong and the others immediately turned around to look. When they saw Xiao Yan, they were stunned. Anger flashed across their faces, and they were immediately replaced by joy. However, when they sensed the former's strength, they could only helplessly shake their heads. Hey. After getting used to the aura outside for a while, Fire Man suddenly let out a horrifying laugh. After that, he turned his head to the Dead Spirit Corpse guards following Cao Ying. He gently raised his right arm and clenched his 5 fingers. The charging Dead Spirit Corpse guards instantly stopped. Without making any sound, they had completely disappeared. Seeing Fire Man's terrifying means, Mulin couldn't care less about his beautiful dream of fighting a snipe and a clam. He hastily stood up and stared at the former. His body quietly approached Su Chong and the others. At this moment, in the face of this powerful enemy, only by joining forces could they have a way out. If he continued to scheme in his heart, he would only die faster. This was something that Mulin, who had been living in this realm for many years, had to do. He knew it all too well. Cao Ying's violent body suddenly stopped moving. Cold sweat broke out all over his body when he sensed Fire Man's terrifying technique. He immediately took a deep breath. He said sincerely to Xiao Yan, "I'm sorry that I wasn't able to dodge in time just now. I rushed to where my young friend is." Xiao Yan sneered in his heart when he heard this. He could clearly feel the killing intent of this guy just now. Now that the crisis had been resolved, his facial expression changed immediately. Cao Ying was ashamed of his shamelessness. Since this guy was pretending to be innocent, Xiao Yan was just pretending to be innocent. Now that the enemy was in front of him, he really couldn't waste his energy on this guy. "Kid, I don't know how you followed us here. But now, you can't run even if you want to." Su Chong stared at Fire Man who was in the cave and said in a deep voice. At the same time, his brain started working quickly. Given the current situation, it was obviously impossible for him to obtain the treasure. If he found an opportunity, it shouldn't be a problem for him to escape. Before Xiao Yan could reply, Fire Man suddenly let out a roar in the cave. With a sway of his body, he appeared in front of everyone. A palm of flame the size of a palm leaf fan whizzed past and sent Chen Rong, who was the closest to him, flying. Force locked. Cold sweat trickled down Su Chang's forehead when he saw this. With Chen Rong's strength, he could easily dodge this attack. However, under the lockdown of this mysterious emperor cultivation, he couldn't move at all. He could only watch helplessly as he was hit. Human. Hey. That bastard sealed his corpse inside before he died. His soul had left behind an obsession, allowing the 4 Death Spirit Corpse guards to guard him, causing King to be unable to come out. However, he still underestimated King's strength. After so many years, King still came out. After sending Chen Rong flying with a single strike, a hoarse voice was heard from Fire Man's body. Apart from anger, there was also endless killing intent in that cold voice. What the hell are you? When Fire Man came out of the cave, the inexplicable restlessness in Xiao Yan's body became even stronger. The heart palpitations that were difficult to suppress quickly spread throughout his body. Sensing the changes in his body, Xiao Yan could no longer hold himself back and asked in a deep voice. Attracted by Xiao Yan's voice, Fire Man pointed his face at Xiao Yan. Immediately, his voice sounded from all directions like rolling thunder. His voice was filled with surprise and excitement. Your physique is actually the same as that guy. Everyone was shocked when they heard what Fire Man said. They all looked at Xiao Yan, who also had a surprised expression. When the latter heard what Fire Man said, he was also stunned. The guy Fire Man was talking about should be the owner of this tomb, but what did he mean by the same physique? Could it be that he was also an alchemist? Your strength is much weaker than that fellow. However, there is definitely a heart flame in your body. If I devour it, King will definitely be able to recover his strength from 10,000 years ago. Fire Man's tone was extremely excited. The flames on his body were blazing, as if he was going to burn the space into ashes. Heart fire. Ignoring the surprised gazes of the crowd, Xiao Yan's mind shook when he heard these two words. He seemed to have heard these two words somewhere before. Heart flame burning. The words of the Xiao clan's great elder suddenly appeared in Xiao Yan's mind. According to him, the fighting monarch in the lower realm would have to endure the pain of the heart flame burning when it broke through to the monarch emperor from the sovereign realm. If it couldn't endure the pain, it would turn into ashes and not even a corpse would be left behind. Thinking of this, Xiao Yan's head suddenly buzzed, as if he had understood everything. His eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. This Fire Man, could it be that the master of this tomb didn't stop when he was breaking through, and the heart flame burning in his body was formed from his heart fire? No wonder his body felt inexplicably irritated when Fire Man appeared. It was probably because the hidden source of the heart fire in his body had been affected. This fellow was definitely the nightmare of all fighting monarch of lower realms. It seemed like the master of this tomb had already prepared this tomb before his advancement. If he didn't succeed, he would die. After thinking about this, the shock in Xiao Yan's heart lessened a lot. Although the prestige power spell had fallen into a dormant state, it was merely the ki and pressure of an emperor cultivation warrior. The effect it had on him was still very weak. Furthermore, under the detection of Xiao Yan's powerful soul power, this Fire Man, although he had the aura of an emperor cultivation warrior, his own strength, it seemed like he hadn't reached the emperor cultivation level yet. Lao Zheng glanced at Xiao Yan, then suddenly looked at Fire Man and said in a deep voice, "It's our fault for intruding into this tomb. In that case, I'll leave this little guy to you. We can leave now." As he spoke, Lao Zheng's heart was filled with reluctance. Lao family had paid a huge price to collect the heavenly core. This time, one of Lao Zheng's arms was broken. However, when faced with this emperor cultivation level, he couldn't believe it. The few of them could win by joining hands. Although the treasure was good, their lives were more important. After hearing Lao Zhen's words, Su Chang's facial expression changed, but he didn't say anything. Instead, he looked towards the direction of the cave. Chen Rong stood up shakily from the ground, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and didn't say anything. As for Mu Lin and Cao Ying, their expressions changed slightly when they heard Lao Zhen's words, as if they agreed with him. Xiao Yan narrowed his eyes when he heard this. He also did not say anything. However, there was an inexplicable bitter smile in his heart. Fire Man's face had no facial features, and no one could tell what his expression was. However, his sneer caused Lao Zhen and the others' facial expressions to change drastically. You want to go out? Don't even think about it. All of you are the best tonics for King's recovery. Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.